back to Movie Files. Elliot here with a brand new review, and this time it is for Brittany Runs a Marathon, a film that wasn't necessarily on my radar, but it came highly recommended from Sundance, and then Perry Nimrod, who I'm a big fan of, from Colaizzo, really spoke highly about it, so I was pretty excited to check it out. Had an early screening to check it out, and I'm here to share with you all my thoughts on the film. Now, for those that aren't too familiar with the premise, I mean, it kind of hints towards it in the title, Brittany Runs a Marathon, but essentially you have Brittany, a young lady approaching her 30s, her life's kind of out of control, and she's trying to take control of her life one block at a time. So jumping right into the positives, I was very surprised by how much I walked out of this film. Not necessarily saying that I was going to the film expecting to not be impressed, but I was just so pleasantly surprised by how motivated I was after walking out of the movie, how much I enjoyed these characters, so much so that I would have loved to have seen this maybe be in a long form format on such as a TV show on Amazon, on Netflix. It was that rich of a character, the storyline, that I really loved to have seen more from this. But just focusing more on the story that we got, I thought it was so well told in regards to the different things that we saw Brittany go through and the interactions that she gets and interacts with all her different characters in the film, from Germ to Catherine to Seth to her Demetrius. All the characters that we got in this film were just so enriching and so encouraging and just there for Brittany, because again, not getting too much into the actual story without spoiling anything, she's kind of in a rut, you know. She's, again, approaching 30. She really doesn't know where she's taking her life and her career. She's, you know, not healthy at this point in her life, so she takes her life by control and starts to work out and get motivated and interact with more people. And I really just love that, because we all kind of go through that, right? No matter what age of life you go through, we all have these little slumps in our lives where we feel kind of left out or isolated or feel, you know, not in the best shape. And I personally relate to the story. You know, I don't know if you all know, but a couple years ago, I lost over 40 plus pounds, really kind of hitting the gym and working out. And I kind of hit a little bit of a slump myself, but I'm now starting to get back in that mode. So this movie definitely kind of has those relatability factors to it, which I really enjoyed. But from a storyline standpoint, the script was really well told, really well paced, about an hour and 40-minute long movie. This movie was probably one of my funniest movies of the year, and not knowing it was going to be this funny, even though I know the star, Jillian Bell, who I'm a big fan of from her appearances in movies like 22 Jump Street to her TV show appearances on Workaholics, which I'm a big fan of. I knew that the comedy elements were going to be there, but the surrounding cast brought in some extra flavor, and this movie was really hilarious. But not to take away from the dramatic elements, by the time I walked out of this film, I was very emotionally attached to the story, very, again, motivated by the end result that we got in this film. It was just really uplifting, and it's always good to have a feel-good movie in the year that we get all this stuff with, you know, outside of movies and stuff that we get with the media and just personal lives. It's always good to see a good, well-told story and a feel-good movie like this film. So, again, I thought that the cast was great. Again, Jillian Bell as Brittany was great, and the surrounding cast, supporting cast, was phenomenal. Again, I would have really wished that we had gotten more from some of these characters, like Seth's storyline and Catherine with everything she's going with in her family, to Demetrius and Brittany's sister. Would really love to get more details around those characters, but again, it was about an hour and 40, so I wasn't expecting a 3-hour long movie, but I really wish it was a TV show if we can get more of those characters. Being more critical as far as some negatives, again, I had mentioned I really want to get a little bit more from those supporting characters, but again, I enjoyed what we did get with those characters. I will say it was a little distracting sometimes. Some of the edits were kind of weird, and this is just a pet peeve of mine in movies, where you see a scene and the characters are obviously talking to each other, but then they just cut the scene randomly. I don't know if they were just kind of short on time or try to, you know, reach a certain window of the edit, but it was just really awkward sometimes where you would see a scene and there's just like weird edited cuts. It was like a handful of times, nothing too detrimental to my score of the film, but one of the biggest scenes that was a little disturbing was not disturbing, but kind of off-putting, was there was some time jumps that were placed well at times, but there was this one time jump which was just like, whoa, I didn't expect to kind of go from here to here in such a short period of time. But minus that, other little critical things, the first 10 to 15 minutes kind of, for me, found a hard time kind of finding this rhythm. But once you get past that first, like I said, 10 to 15 minute mark, the film just finds its own personality, knows what it is, and I enjoyed the entirety of the film, minus some jokes here and then that didn't really land for me at the beginning. But the rest of the film, again, was hilarious, well-told story, very motivating, very encouraging for all genders, for all ages. I highly recommend this film. It is, today's Friday, August 23rd. I believe it has select theaters that is being released to in kind of the bigger markets, New York, Chicago. So I was very surprised that we got it here in St. Louis when I saw it early, but highly recommend it. I believe it comes out everywhere September 13th. So again, if you're into a well-told, motivated, well-acted, well-directed, well-told story about a young lady that wants to take control of her life and runs a marathon or attempts to run a marathon, this is the movie for you. I highly recommend it. I would be very surprised if this film doesn't land on my top 10 list for the rest of 2019. I'm giving this film a 4.8 out of 5. It was almost a damn near perfect film for me because, again, very surprised with what I got. Very motivated walking around the movie. And again, when you can relate to a movie like I did with this film, it only bodes well for me. And I highly recommend you guys checking it out, as I had said. So 4.8 out of 5. Definitely recommend Brittany check. Brittany Runs a Marathon, coming to theaters everywhere September 13th. When you see the movie, drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought of it. If you saw it early like myself, or if you saw it during Sundance, let me know what you thought of the film. Like, share, and comment on this video. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Hit that notification bell so you can stay up to date with all of our new movie reviews, trailer reactions, TV reviews, unboxings, and giveaways. So definitely keep an eye out for more videos coming pretty soon. Thank you for watching this review, and we'll see you in the next one.